He sat down in my office, eyes heavy, voice low. A 66-year-old man wearing a baseball cap and flannel shirt, but with the posture of someone carrying something invisible on his back. "Doc," he said, avoiding eye contact. "I don't think I'm a real man anymore. I finished too fast." She doesn't say anything, but I can see it in her eyes. I let him speak, because I've heard this before, dozens, maybe hundreds of times. Different men. Same shame. Premature ejaculation. Just 2 words. Yet they carry the weight of failure, embarrassment, and silent withdrawal from intimacy. But I always ask this question first. What if what's happening to you isn't your fault? What if this isn't about being weak, or inexperienced, or not man enough? What if something deeper is going on? Something rooted in your nervous system and hormones? Something no one ever told you about? You see, for many men over 60, what they call finishing too fast isn't just a performance issue. It's a biological signal, a neurological pattern, a hormonal imbalance silently building up for years. But instead of being told the truth, they're handed shame, or worse, silence. And that silence turns into distance. Distance from their partner. Distance from their own body. Distance from the part of themselves that once felt proud to be a man. When a man blames himself for premature ejaculation, he's slowly eroding his own dignity, even when the fault was never his to begin with. That's what I told him that day. And maybe that's what you need to hear right now. This video isn't about blaming you. It's about freeing you. Freeing you from the myth that premature ejaculation is about control or willpower. Freeing you from the pressure to prove yourself with every encounter. In the next few minutes, I'll explain what's really going on. Why men over 60 are biologically more likely to finish too fast. How nerve sensitivity and hormone changes affect your body's timing. And most importantly, what you can do to take back control without pills and without shame. Because you're not broken. You're not alone. And no, you're not less of a man. You're simply dealing with something no one ever gave you the tools to understand. But I will. Right now. And if this resonates with you, if you've ever sat on the edge of the bed wondering what's wrong with you, leave a comment below. Ask the question you've been afraid to say out loud. And if you find this video helpful, please like and share it. Because too many good men are suffering in silence. And that ends today. Your nerves are too fast, and that's why you can't control it. Let me tell you something most men never hear from their doctor. Your ability to last in bed isn't just about self-control. It's about neurobiology. And after 60, your nerves don't behave the way they used to. Here's what I mean. When you're touched, especially during sex, signals travel from the nerve endings in your penis, up your spinal cord, into your brain. Your brain then processes those signals and sends messages back down to activate or delay the ejaculation reflex. That's the basic loop. Sensation, processing, response. In younger men, this system is stable. There's enough buffer time between arousal and ejaculation. But in older men, the loop is faster. Too fast. Because the nerves become more sensitive. It's like the volume knob on a speaker. What used to feel like a soft touch, now feels amplified. Not in a pleasurable way, but in a way that makes your body say, "It's time," far too early. And this isn't your fault. As we age, the nerve receptors in the penis, particularly the dorsal nerve, become more excitable. They're quicker to fire, quicker to send signals, and unfortunately, much quicker to trigger that involuntary reflex. To make it worse, your brain's ability to regulate and pause that signal weakens over time. So it's like pressing a gas pedal with no brakes. And if you've ever thought, why does it happen before I'm ready? Why can't I stop it once it starts? This is why. It's not about mental weakness. It's about a neurological mismatch between sensation and control. Let me give you an example. I had a patient, 72 years old, who told me he lasted less than a minute even when he wasn't that aroused. His testosterone was low, and his nerve response on testing was hyperreactive. We ran a test called penile biothesiometry, and it showed excessive sensitivity in the glands. In short, his body was reacting like it was 25, in terms of nerve speed, but his brain couldn't handle the signal like it did at 25. You're not finishing fast because of excitement. You're finishing fast because your nerves are firing before your brain can even respond. That's the truth. And the irony? Many men then try to think of something else. Or they pull out early. Or even use desensitizing creams. But all that does is mask the signal, not fix the root. And over time, your brain starts to associate intimacy with anxiety, performance with failure, and pleasure with panic. That's how this vicious cycle begins. But here's the hope. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself, doesn't stop at 60. You can retrain your nerves. You can regain control. But only if you stop blaming yourself and start understanding what's really happening inside your body. And that's what we'll get into in the next section, where we talk about how hormones like testosterone and serotonin play a critical role in timing your ejaculation. Because if your nerves are the messengers, then your hormones are the ones deciding what the message says. Let's keep going. Low testosterone, low serotonin, and a brain that can't wait. We've talked about your nerves, how they fire too fast, too early, too intensely. But now let's talk about the chemistry behind the curtain. Because your nerves may be sending the signal, but it's your hormones and neurotransmitters that decide how fast the engine runs. And if you're over 60, that engine isn't broken. It's just running out of oil. Let me explain. Testosterone. You know the name. It's not just the hormone of masculinity. It's the silent conductor of your entire sexual orchestra. Most men think of testosterone only in terms of libido or erections. But what they don't realize is that testosterone also influences your brain's ability to regulate ejaculation. Here's how. Testosterone boosts the production of a key neurotransmitter called serotonin. Serotonin is your brain's braking system. It helps delay ejaculation by telling your spinal cord, "Not yet. Hold on. Stay in the moment." But when testosterone drops, which it naturally does with age, your serotonin levels go down with it. And when serotonin drops, your brain loses its brakes. Even a light tap on the accelerator, a kiss, a touch, a moment of closeness, can send you over the edge. This is why so many men say, "I wasn't even fully aroused, and it happened." Or, "She barely touched me, and I lost control." They blame themselves. They think it's weakness. But really, it's neurochemistry. I had a patient, 65, who came to me after trying every topical cream and delay spray he could find online. He said, "Nothing works. I still finish in under a minute." His testosterone level? 198 ing/dl, far below optimal. His serotonin metabolites? Well, the fix wasn't a cream. It was restoring the hormonal balance that helped his brain regulate timing in the first place. It's not that your body can't perform, it's that your brain can't hold the moment because the chemicals that used to help you pause are now running low. That's the missing piece most men never hear about. And let's not forget, low serotonin also leads to anxiety, irritability, and negative thought patterns. So not only are you finishing early, you're also thinking, "She's disappointed. I failed again. What's wrong with me?" That stress triggers more cortisol. Cortisol suppresses testosterone even more. And just like that, you're stuck in a downward spiral of chemical chaos. This isn't just theory. Studies have shown that men with premature ejaculation often have lower serotonin activity in key areas of the brain that regulate sexual timing, especially the lateral hypothalamus and the medial preoptic area. That's not psychology. That's brain scan data. So what can you do? Let's start with understanding the balance. You need testosterone to fuel your system. You need serotonin to pace your system. You need dopamine to keep desire alive. And you need oxytocin to connect emotionally. But here's the good news. All of these are adjustable. Naturally. You can boost testosterone through diet, strength training, and proper sleep. You can increase serotonin with certain foods, exposure to sunlight, and emotional connection. You can lower cortisol with mindfulness, breathing, and regular physical activity. And when those start to shift, your brain no longer feels the urge to rush. It can finally stay in the moment. Premature ejaculation isn't about lack of stamina. It's about a brain that's been running on empty, trying to give you pleasure without the chemistry to hold it together. If this is hitting close to home, that's okay. Because now you know, it's not your fault. It never was. In the next section, I'll walk you through the most common mistakes men make when trying to fix this on their own, the myths that make things worse, and the solutions that actually backfire. But before we go there, I want you to pause. Take a breath. Understand this. You are not broken. You are not less of a man. Your body is simply asking for support, the kind it never had to ask for before. And now it's time to listen. The harder you try, the faster it happens. The myths that make it worse. Let me guess. You've tried to distract yourself. You've thought about baseball scores, tax returns, dead fish, anything to take your mind off the moment. You've held your breath, tensed your thighs, gritted your teeth, and hoped you'd last just a little longer. You've even told yourself, don't get too excited. Don't feel too much. Don't go too fast. And yet, the more you tried, the faster it happened. Sound familiar? That's not your imagination. That's your nervous system doing exactly what it's wired to do, respond to pressure with urgency. You see, the harder you fight the sensation, the more you activate your sympathetic nervous system. That's the system responsible for fight, flight, and unfortunately, fast release. When you're anxious, your body treats arousal as a threat to be managed, not a pleasure to be enjoyed. And in that state, your body says, let's get this over with now. That's why many men feel like they lose control even before they start enjoying themselves. Because they've conditioned their brain to treat sex like a performance, not a connection. When sex becomes a test of control instead of a moment of presence, the body stops cooperating and starts reacting. Let's talk about the most common traps I see men fall into. 1. The distract yourself method. You try to think of something unrelated, something boring, just to delay the moment. But when you disconnect from pleasure, you disconnect from your partner too. And the tension builds, because now you're trying to suppress something natural. This creates a split between body and mind, and ironically, it shortens your time, not lengthens it. 2. The stop and start panic. You pull out. Pause. Wait. Try again. Pull out again. This mechanical approach might delay climax, but it trains your brain to associate intimacy with stress and interruption. Your partner notices. The rhythm is broken. And eventually, neither of you is enjoying the moment. 3. The numb it solution. Creams, sprays, condoms, that dull sensation, they might work for a while. But what are you really numbing? Not just your penis, but your confidence, your intimacy, your ability to feel present in the act. I had a patient, 68 years old, who used delay spray every time. He told me, I last longer but I feel nothing. And my wife knows it. What he thought was helping was slowly removing the feeling from the most intimate part of his life. 4. The power-through approach. Some men think, I'll just keep trying. Eventually I'll get used to it. But repeated failure doesn't build strength, it builds trauma. It trains your brain to expect defeat. And your body follows. That's how psychogenic ED begins. Not from a physical issue, but from repeated emotional bruising. Each failed attempt whispers, you're not good enough. She's not satisfied. This will happen again. And you start to pull away. Not just physically, but emotionally. You make excuses. You avoid intimacy. You lose that sparkle in your eyes when she walks in the room. And maybe she doesn't say anything. But you feel it. The silence. The space. The quiet disappointment. Premature ejaculation doesn't just shorten the act. It stretches the distance between two people who used to feel close. So what's the answer? It's not trying harder. It's not thinking less. It's not numbing your body or avoiding your partner. The answer is rewiring your relationship with sensation. Learning to ride the wave instead of fighting it. Training your brain to feel safe in arousal, not panicked by it. That starts with awareness, breath, and practice. And yes, we'll get to that in the next section. But for now, let me leave you with this. Your instincts are not the enemy. Your body is not broken. And you don't have to choose between pleasure and control. You can have both, but only if you stop running and start listening. The dual solution: nerve training and hormonal balance. By now you understand what's going on. It's not weakness. It's not your fault. It's your nerves and hormones working against each other and against you. But the good news is this: you can take back control. Not with pills, not with tricks, but with a retraining process that addresses the problem at its root. Let's break it down into two parts: nerve training and hormonal balance. Together, they form a powerful solution that works with your body, not against it. Part 1. Retraining your nerves, slowing the signal. Your nervous system isn't fixed in stone. It's adaptable. It learns. And it can be reconditioned to respond differently to stimulation. This is called neuroplasticity, and it's your greatest ally. So how do we retrain your nerves? Through something I teach many of my patients. A combination of sensate focus, start-stop exercises, and conscious breath control. Let's go through them. 1. Sensate focus, rebuilding the connection between body and brain. This technique isn't about sex. It's about touch without pressure. It's done with or without a partner. The goal is to desensitize fear and resensitize pleasure in a controlled, safe way. Start by touching your own body, without rushing, without goal. Feel texture, warmth, movement. Do the same with your partner if you have one. But agree beforehand. No goal, no performance, no pressure. This lowers the arousal spike and teaches your brain that touch is safe, not a trigger. Do this 10 to 15 minutes a day. That's all. 2. Start-stop technique, reclaiming your response window. During solo stimulation, allow yourself to build arousal slowly. When you feel you're nearing climax, stop. Breathe. Relax. Let the urgency subside. Then start again. Repeat this 3 to 5 times per session. This trains your body to recognize the buildup and not rush toward the finish line. Over time, your nervous system learns to stretch the distance between arousal and release. 3. Breath work, slowing the system from within. Most men hold their breath during sex. This spikes adrenaline, and adrenaline makes you release faster. Instead, practice slow nasal breathing. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold for 2. Exhale for 6. Do this during your start-stop practice. Do it during touch. Eventually, do it during intimacy. It calms the nervous system, activates the parasympathetic response, and gives you back control. The breath is the bridge between your mind and your body. When you control it, you regain your timing. Part 2. Rebalancing your hormones, restoring the chemistry. Now let's talk about what's happening inside, where testosterone and serotonin set the tone. We don't need pharmaceutical intervention for everyone. In fact, most men over 60 can boost testosterone naturally if they know how. Here's what I tell my patients. 1. Strength training, especially legs. Large compound movements like squats, lunges, and deadlifts stimulate testosterone production. Why? Because working large muscle groups sends a signal to the endocrine system. Build, repair, grow. Just 3 sessions per week, 30 minutes each is enough. Body weight is fine to start. 2. Sleep, the silent hormone factory. 80% of daily testosterone is produced during deep sleep, especially between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. But if you're waking up frequently using your phone at midnight or sleeping less than 6 hours, your levels plummet. Establish a routine. Cool dark room. No screens. Consistent bedtime. and watch your testosterone rise within weeks. 3. Nutrition, feed your hormones. Zinc, vitamin D, magnesium, and healthy fats are essential. Eat eggs, salmon, pumpkin seeds, spinach, and avocados. Cut processed sugar. It spikes insulin, which crushes testosterone. Stay hydrated. Your hormones travel in blood, and blood is 90% water. 4. Connection, the forgotten booster. Intimacy, laughter, and physical touch raise oxytocin, which supports testosterone and lowers cortisol. Many men isolate when performance issues begin. That's a mistake. Reconnect. Hold hands. Even non-sexual affection keeps your chemistry alive. Testosterone isn't just about muscle or libido, it's the fire that fuels your confidence, your clarity, and your courage. Putting it all together. If you train your nerves but ignore your hormones, you'll feel calmer but still finish too fast. If you boost your hormones but ignore your nervous system, you'll feel desire but still lack timing. It's the combination that changes everything. One of my patients, 66 years old, followed this exact plan. He told me after 8 weeks, "Doc, I feel like myself again, but better. Because now I understand what my body's trying to say." That's the goal. Not just performance, but peace, control, and connection. In the next part, I'll share his full story, how he rebuilt his confidence and how his marriage changed when he stopped trying to be perfect and started learning how to be present. Let's go there now. The same man, a different ending, Michael's return to confidence. Remember Michael? The 66-year-old who walked into my office with his shoulders down and his spirit even lower? The man who told me, "I don't feel like a man anymore. I finished too fast and I can't look my wife in the eye." That day, I didn't give him a prescription. I gave him a plan. We talked about his nervous system, his testosterone, his serotonin, and all the ways they'd been quietly undermining his control. But more than that, I asked him to trust his body again, to stop fighting, to start listening. He was skeptical at first. Thought breathing exercises were new age nonsense. Thought touching without intercourse was too soft. But something in him shifted. Maybe it was the way his wife had stopped touching his hand at night. Or maybe he was just tired of being afraid in his own skin. So he started, day by day. Sensate focus first. He and his wife spent 5 minutes a night just touching each other without expectation. No goal. No pressure. Just presence. He practiced breathing, slow, deep, from the belly, especially when he felt that familiar surge. He stopped numbing himself with sprays. He stopped trying to distract his mind. He stopped seeing sex as a test to pass, and started seeing it as a conversation with his nervous system. He also changed his routine. Got sunlight in the morning. Started light strength training. Nothing extreme. Just moving his body, claiming his strength. He cut out the sugar. Went to bed earlier. Took his phone out of the bedroom. Within 4 weeks he said, "Doc, I don't panic anymore. I can feel myself building up, but I don't lose control." By week 7 he said, "I'm starting to enjoy it again. Not just the act, the connection. She's smiling at me again." By week 8 he looked like a different man. Not younger, but more present, more grounded, more sure of himself. And then he said something I'll never forget. "Doc, it's not even about lasting longer anymore. It's that I'm not scared of it happening." That's what changed everything. That's when I knew he was free. Because the real problem wasn't premature ejaculation. It was fear, shame, disconnection. And those can't be fixed with pills. They can only be healed by reclaiming control, slowly, patiently, and with the right tools. Confidence doesn't come from perfect performance. It comes from knowing that your body is no longer the enemy. Today, Michael still checks in with me every few months. Not for treatment, just to say thank you. Sometimes he brings his wife along. They laugh a lot more now. They touch in little ways, a hand on the back, a glance that says more than words ever could. And when he talks about what changed, he doesn't mention any medical term. He just says, I stopped rushing. I started breathing. And I finally came home to myself. That's what I want for you. And in the final part of this video, I'll tie it all together, so you can take your first step just like Michael did. Let's finish strong. You're not alone, and you never were. If you've made it this far, you've already done something most men never do. You've stayed. You've listened. And maybe, for the first time in a long time, you've started to understand that what you're going through isn't weakness. It's not failure. It's not the end. It's simply your body asking for help in a language no one ever taught you to understand. Premature ejaculation isn't just a bedroom issue. It's a confidence issue. It's a connection issue. It's something that affects how you see yourself and how you let others see you. But it's also something you can change. And not by numbing, hiding, or pretending it doesn't matter. You change it by listening, by learning, by practicing, and by trusting that this part of you, the part that still wants to connect, to give, to receive, isn't broken. It's just been neglected. And now, it's time to come home to it. The moment you stop blaming yourself is the moment you begin healing, not just your timing but your sense of worth. You are not too old. You are not too late. And you are not the only one. I've worked with men in their 50s, 60s, 70s, even 80s, and the one thing they all had in common wasn't their age. It was their willingness to try again, just like Michael did. So if you're feeling lost, if you've stopped reaching for your partner, if you've been carrying shame in silence, let this be your invitation to begin again. Start with your breath. Start with a walk. Start with one honest conversation. And if this video helped you see yourself a little more clearly, if it gave you hope or peace or just a small sense of finally someone gets it, then I ask you to do one thing. Leave a comment. Tell me where you're at in your journey. Ask your question. No shame. No filter. And if you know someone else, a friend, a brother, a father, who might be quietly struggling too, share this with him. It might be the message he didn't know he needed. And lastly, if you want more content like this, if you want to keep learning how to take care of your manhood, your confidence, and your connection, hit that subscribe button. Not because I need it, but because you deserve to never feel alone in this again. This is your time. And I'll be right here, every step of the way.